the lesson on tables of values. Our goal here is for students to create a table of values for visual sequences and for pattern rules given in words, and to use a table of values for patterns to write pattern rules in words. If you have pattern blocks, this lesson calls for it. If you don't, you can print those out and cut them out. That's pattern blocks. Okay. All right, let's get started. So we'll start with the mental math minute. Don't need anything for this. Okay, here it is. All right. Here's the problem. Double 169. Okay? And this is a number talk, so works a lot better if you're with other people. So have a discussion about how you might double 169 in your head, and then come on back. So a couple strategies might arise. Maybe you knew that 169 is 100 plus 60 plus 9. So the double is 200 plus 120 plus 18, which would be 338. Maybe you thought 169 is 160 plus 9, so double is 320 plus 18, which again is 338. 169 is one less than 170. So 169 is 170 minus 1. So doubled, that'd be 340 minus 2, which again is 338. So those are some ways to think about 169 doubled. All right, making a table of values. Let's say that you are planning to organize a community picnic. 4 people can sit at each square picnic table, but you want to put picnic tables together to make one long table. Because you're going to have benches and not chairs. So you can see how the long table changes as you add small tables to it, and how people sit around each resulting table. And so you can see these squares, and the dots are for the people. So if you want to track the number of people that can sit at the long table, to make sure that you set out enough plates and cutlery, and so maybe you want to write down the number of people at each table. And so you could write down 4, 6, and 8, here, here, and here. So that's 4, 6, and 8. Okay, so we have 4 people at this one, 6 people at that one, and 8 people at that one. So the number of people forms a sequence of numbers, 4, 6, 8, etc. Is this an increasing or decreasing sequence? That's right, it's increasing. Remember that when numbers get bigger, the sequence is increasing. When numbers get smaller, the sequence is decreasing. I want to keep track of the number of people sitting at the table, but I also want to know how many of the small picnic tables I need for different numbers of people. So when there's 4 number of people, I'm going to write down that I need 1 table. And when there's 6 people, I needed 2 tables, and 8 people, I needed 3 tables. So notice the relationship here. 4 people, 1 table, 6 people, 2 tables, and 8 people, 3 tables. A simple way to keep track of how many people can sit at each table is to make a table of values. Okay, so here's what a table of values looks like. This is the table, and on the left I've titled this number of picnic tables, and on the right I've titled that number of people. So how does the number of people change as the picnic tables are added? Okay, so if we fill this in, when there was 1 picnic table, there was 4 people, then 2 picnic tables made 6 people, and then at 3 picnic tables, there was 8 people. Okay, so how does this pattern, how does the pattern of people change as tables are added? You may notice that the number of people in each successive picture on the board increases by 2, or that the difference between the the terms on the right hand of this table of values increases by 2 each time. Right? So 4 plus 2 is 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. Okay. Can you state a rule for the pattern in the table? Well, yeah, maybe you start at 4 and you add 2. And then that will predict how many people can sit around a table made from 5 picnic tables. So you can see that the pattern will continue to grow, and we'll add 2 to make 4 picnic tables and 10 people, and then 2 more to make 5 picnic tables and 12 people. And so the pattern rule is start at 4 and add 2. And then if we extend this table out, at 4 picnic tables, there'd be 10 people, and at 5 picnic tables, we'd be up to 12. Okay? So there we go. Time for you to do some exercises. Look at this sequence of tables and chairs. Determine the gap, meaning what changes between each section. Tell me how many people can sit around the 4th set of tables. How many tables do you need to put together to seat 26 people? And how many people can sit around the first 4 sets of tables altogether? All right, so you should have worked on that in your notebook or on your whiteboard. I'm hoping to see tables of values, maybe adding different amounts each time. And so the gap is 4. So when there's one table, it has 6 people, and then at 2 tables, we're up to 10. 10, that's right, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So the gap is 4. There's 4 more people per table. How many people can sit around the 4th set of tables? 18. You're up to 18. How many tables do you need to put together to seat 26 people? You should be up to 6 tables. And then how many people can sit around the first 4 sets of tables altogether? That would be 6 plus 10 plus 14 plus 18, which is 48. Okay, here's another exercise. In the following pattern, each term is made up of squares. Terms 2, 3, and 4 are shown. First step, draw terms 1 and 5. Then, how many squares are needed to make the first 5 terms all together? And finally, compare your answer with part B to a partner and try to agree on the correct answer. Okay, again, pause the video, take some time to figure this one out. Okay, so for B, there'll be 3 squares plus 5 plus 7 plus 9 plus 11, which is going to be 25. And you can compare that answer with your classmates. All right, so just like you can create a sequence from a rule, you can create a table of value from a rule. So we have this rule here. Start with 3 and add 5 each time. So you want to write the term number in one column and the term value in the other column. And you can see there's our table right there. So in this first row, the first term is 1 and the term value is 3. And then the second term is what? 8. Okay, so how do you get from 3 to 8? Well, you add 5. So the second term number, 2, is 8. What if we wanted to complete that table? Okay, I would assume that it would be the third term number is then 13. And then I'm going to add another 5. So my fourth number, 13 plus 5, is 18. My fifth term number, 18 plus 5, is 23. And then my sixth term number, 23 plus 5, is 28. Okay, so that's how I would fill in this table of values. All right, here are some exercises. Make your own table of values for the pattern rule and find the term value or term number asked for. There's 4 questions. A, start at 2 and add 6 each time. Find the 5th term. B, start at 18 and subtract 1 each time. Which term is equal to 10? C, start at 5 and multiply by 2 each time, which term is equal to 320. And D, start at 1,000 and divide by 2 each time, find the fourth term. All right, so A, the fifth term is 26. B, the ninth term is equal to 10. C, the seventh term is equal to 320. And D, if you start at 1,000 and divide by 2 each time, the fourth term should be 125. Okay, and here's a model of what D should look like. You have your term number, term value, 1, 2, 3, 4, and then starting with 1,000 and then splitting in half each time. Okay. Alrighty. Next exercise. Kyle makes a table of values for the rule. Is his table correct? If not, describe his mistake. A, start at 8 and add 5 each time. Is he correct? If so, great. If not, where did he make his mistake? Okay, the answer is no. He started with 5 instead of 8. And then what about this one? Start at 3 and multiply by 2 each time. Okay, so again, he didn't follow the rule. He did start at 3. He times by 2 to get 6. Then he times by 2 to get 12. But then he did not times by 2 to get 18 from 12. So you can do the same thing when the pattern rule has 2 operations. As long as you can make the sequence from the pattern rule, you can make the table of values as well. So here's some exercises. Complete a table of values for the pattern rule and show the first 4 terms. So we have start at 3, multiply by 2, and subtract 1 each time. Start at 4, subtract 3, and multiply by 5 each time. Start at 2, add 5, and multiply by 2 each time. Okay. And for these ones, you're going to compare your answers with a partner and try to agree on the correct answer. So make sure that you understand each other's reasoning before agreeing on the answer. Okay, and then our selected answer for this one is C. For C, sorry, I'm not able to zoom in anymore for some reason. For C, it should look like this. Term number, term value, start at 2 and add 5 and multiply by 2 each time. So 2 plus 5 is 7, times 2 is 14. 14 plus 5 is 19, times 2 is 38. 38 plus 5 is 43, times 2 is 86. Okay. Okay. Or that I couldn't zoom in that time. Okay. There is a bonus that you may do. Tessa made a table of values for the pattern rule. Is her table correct? If not, explain her mistake. Start at 5, subtract 2, and multiply by 3 each time. Interesting pattern. And then here's another bonus. Start at 0, multiply by 3, and add 1 each time. Very cool. So she was not correct. To get the third term, she added 2 instead of subtracted 2 and then multiplied. And then this one is correct. Some neat patterns. You can also write pattern rules from a table of values. So here's our table of values. Term number 1 is 5, 2 is 7, 3 is 9, and 4 is 11. And so the pattern rule, you're going to start with start at 5, because we started at 5. Then we're going to see what we did each time. And this one here looks like it added 2 each time. There you go. So our pattern rule for this, start at 5, add 2 each time. Here are some exercises for you. Write a pattern rule for each of these table of values. So there's A and there's B. So the correct answer for A is start at 8 and add 3 each time. And then for B, we're starting at 17,000 and we're dividing by 10 each time. All right. So there is your lesson. Here is your activity. It is an essential activity, so you must do it. You are to construct a sequence of shapes, for instance, castles or letters of the alphabet, that grow in a fixed way. So you can use pattern blocks, for example. And here are two examples. So here's a castle, and it grows in the same way each time. Or here's a letter F, and it grows in the same way each time. You are to describe how your pattern grows and to predict how many blocks you'll need to make the sixth figure. And you should be trying to find this answer in a systematic way using a table of values to organize your calculation. Okay, so go ahead and work on that. And then here are your extensions. 1, the following table shows the number of blocks used in building different structures. Each figure corresponds to a stage in the construction process. The same number of blocks was added to each structure at each stage. Fill in the missing numbers. 2, Cody used one kind of block to build a structure. He added the same number of blocks to his structure at each stage of construction. He made a mistake when he copied the number of blocks at each stage into the table. Can you find his error and correct it? 3, you want to construct a block castle following the steps shown below. Step 1, Step 2, Step 3. You would like each tower in the finished castle to be 5 blocks high. Each block costs 5 cents and you have 80 cents altogether. Do you have enough money to buy all the blocks you need? Hint, make a table with 3 columns. Step, number of block, and cost. 4, Edith's maple sapling grows 5 centimeters in July. It grows 4 centimeters each month after that. Ron's sapling grows 7 centimeters in July. It grows 3 centimeters each month after that. Whose sapling is taller by the end of October? And 5, complete the table for this sequence of shapes. The hint is to extend the table as required to answer the questions. B says how many shaded squares will be needed for a figure with 7 unshaded squares? And C says how many squares will be needed for a figure with 15 shaded squares? Number 6, this table shows the amount of fuel left in an airplane as it travels toward an airport. And again, you should be extending the table for this. How much fuel will be left in the airplane after 25 minutes? How far from the airport will the plane be after 30 minutes? And how much fuel will be left in the airplane when it reaches the airport? All right. That's the end of the lesson. You should be completing pages 12, 13, and 14 in your practice books. Thank you as always. Well done.